Welcome to Season 2 of Kindred, hosted by me, Kate, and my sister, Jen. In this podcast, we explore our human relationship to animals and the natural world.
In connecting to our world, we also connect to compassion, understanding, and empathy. How can we see ourselves not as separate from animals and nature, but part of an active ecosystem?
This season, Jen and I will focus on learning about the history of our disconnect to the natural world. What knowledge and connection have we lost and why?
We'll talk with scientists, conservationists, academics, and many others as we look to answer the question, how can we implement change in order to heal our planet?
And we'll explore how we can repair and restore our connection and relationship to our fellow keystone species and ecosystems. Welcome back to Kindred, everybody. How's it going? Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Oh, great.
Yeah, good.
I'm great.
Great
How
as usual.
Are you?
I'm doing well. It's
good.
Been a time.
Yes.
We've had some ups and downs these days.
Indeed.
I lost my sweet dog, and that's been very difficult. So I've, in the year, gone from 4 animals in the house to now 1. So
yeah, that's insane.
We're transitioning and processing and thinking a lot about the last week's episode with Dr. Udell, just talking about the bond that we have with our animals, and it's helping. So a lot's been going on, but we're okay. We're getting through it. So yes, we are good. We are good. We have a really exciting interview today to share with you. Super starstruck and pumped about it. Can't wait to share it with you. But first, I want to talk to you about our highlight for this episode. I have loved giraffes for a long time, and the first time I saw a real-life giraffe was on a little safari I went with a friend of mine who lived in Johannesburg at the time, and I was visiting her. And we went to this game reserve in a little country at the time off of Botswana called Bophuthatswana, as far as I know how to say it. And we were driving into the reserve, and I look over, and we're on a dirt road, and there's a long, long fence. And then next to that, there's a giraffe comes running out of the bush, and it is galloping itself along the car with us. And then it sort of ducks back into the bush again and disappeared. But I was so impacted by that image, to see an animal like that in action in real life was
in
quite
its habitat,
yes.
in its native habitat is amazing. Yeah.
It just imprinted deeply in my psyche and my memory and my brain. And since then, they've been one of my top 3 favorite animals. They're just such a beautiful creature, and they're just the way they move is incredible. So the organization I want to talk to you about today is called Save Giraffes Now. I've been following them for a while on Instagram. They're an organization working with countries and partners across Africa, protecting and supporting giraffe populations, which are made up of 4 different types, which I didn't actually know. Northern giraffe, reticulated giraffe, it's a great name for a giraffe, the Maasai giraffe, and the southern giraffe. And right now they are fundraising for Zambia's wildlife corridor and the rare Maasai thorncross giraffe, creating a safe space for giraffe to move to new savanna habitat. And you can find that link and the story on Instagram at Save Giraffes Now. So please follow them, donate if you can, and learn more fun facts on their website about all things giraffe, these incredible animals that I find completely underrated as far as what we know about them. And they would be really fun people to talk to. And as usual, quick favor, if you please, head over to Apple Podcasts to follow, rate, and review. It only takes a couple seconds and helps others find Kindred. If you want to stay up to date with all things Kindred, follow us on Instagram at The Kindred Pod, or on our website at kindredpodcast.co, where all of our links to the show notes will be. And if you want to get in touch with us with any questions and suggestions, etc., you can write us at thekindredpod@gmail.com. So today we are speaking with Vongani Masingi, Junior Ranger with the all-female Anti-Poaching Unit, the Black Mambas. Round of applause.
Yes.
And Lewyn Maefala, Coordinator, Manager, and Founder of the Bush Babies Education Program. And again, a round of applause. I'm very excited about this conversation. The Black Mambas Anti-Poaching Unit was founded in 2013 by Transfrontier Africa NPC and has grown to now protect all boundaries of the Balul Nature Reserve, part of the greater Kruger area in South Africa. With 23 rangers and 7 environmental monitors, the Black Mambas focus not only on the protection of rhinos through boots on the ground, but also being a role model in their communities. With a passion for wildlife and rhino conservation, these women are the voice in the community through their conservation work. And the Bush Babies School Program is an environmentally based education program currently offered to 10 schools in local communities surrounding the greater Kruger National Park, where conservation issues are discussed and incorporated into the existing school curriculum. So today we will be speaking with Vongani and Lewyn about anti-poaching and education and how they are working together. And you can find them and much more information on their website at theblackmambas.org. So what a joy to speak with them. They are, to borrow a word from Dr. Kate Stafford, our guest 2 episodes ago, they are superlative humans. And a joy and a pleasure and an honor to speak with. So let's head over to our conversation.
Sounds good.
See you soon. Welcome to the Black Mambas and Bush Babies. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today. It's so exciting to be talking with you, and thank you so much for your time. We were just saying how amazing it is. We're all spread around the world talking to each other, and it can be a little bit of a challenge. So thanks for making the time. If you could just please introduce yourselves and tell us what you do.
I'm Vongani Masingi. I'm one of the last recruited team. I'm a Junior Ranger. I'm based in Greater Kruger.
My name is Lewyn Maefala, and I am the Bush Babies Environmental Education Program Coordinator, Manager, and Founder, working together with the Black Mamba Anti-Poaching Unit.
And Vongani, if I could just start with you and a little bit about working with the Black Mambas. Why were the Black Mambas founded?
The Black Mambas APU is a project of Transfrontier Africa, a non-profit conservation organization. It was founded by Craig Spencer in 2013 to tackle the escalating poaching crisis in the greater Kruger.
Incredible. So why, I think you're a little famous for maybe being an all-women team. Why only women?
Because we women of South Africa have so much potential. You know, growing up in rural communities, often without fathers, we become the main breadwinners in our communities, especially in our families. Having a job is very rare in our communities. So we had a chance to become a ranger. We grabbed this opportunity and we are doing our best because we are very committed and responsible in this job. Also, we are good communicators, as it is good quality much needed in conservation. We'll build relationships between the greater Kruger and our community, because you know that there's also this program that is the Bush Babies. So sometimes we go into the local schools, we educate the children. It may be about rhino facts, about the animals, because we know that children are like small sponges. They absorb things at an early age. They have a memory like an elephant. They don't forget easily. So we're quite investing in them because they are the future leaders. And also we are trying to show them that the advantages of preserving our natural heritage is far greater than destroying it. So they later go to the same uncles, brothers, and fathers that go inside the reserve and poach. So they tell them the same information that was taught from us.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, exciting. It's an exciting program. And you're right. I mean, women are so suited to this sort of task. And I mean, we're amazing multitaskers, aren't we? Right? We can do it all. So tell us, in a day, what exactly do you do while on duty as a ranger?
As a ranger, normally when we go to work, I check my boots if they are polished. I check my uniform, it's okay. There's a hand radio, it's called a hysteria, where they normally call us every hour if we're doing a normal patrol, fence patrol. And there's also the internal radio, which is inside the vehicle. So the hysteria must always be charged when we go on patrol. And also there's this CMO phone. The CMO phone, when I say CMO, there's an app called the CMO inside the smartphone, which we log our information. When we find anything suspicious, it goes straight to the CMO. Or also there's this other app, it's called a Cluey. And also we log our information there, it goes straight to the ops room. If there's the driver there, the driver checks the vehicle. If the water is all right, the fuel gauge is okay before we go to night patrol. And also if it's night patrol, there's a spotlight where normally we spotlight the fence. We're checking for any suspicious activities. If either the fence it may be cut so that we can report the information. And there are OPs. Let's take, it's Victor -1. We're doing an OP. It's an observation post where we wait, we listen. If we can hear any suspicious things, then if there's any suspicious things, we log our information inside the CMO. It goes straight to the ops room. Or we call them, we say, Bravo Machali, come in. If I'm Golf 1, they're in Greater Kruger, they listen to us. Or if I'm here in Eguatuleni, I say Oscar 1. So they respond to us and we give them the information. So if it's 2 teams, the other one is going on patrol, the other one is stripping. The snow stripping part is where we take out the cable snare or the wire snares, the poachers that place around the bush. So we take everything out. And sometimes we do roadblocks. Roadblocks mainly is because when vehicles, they come in, for example, here I'm in Eguatuleni, we're at the gate, the vehicles, they come in. Sometimes if they go out, we must do roadblocks and search them. Especially if I'm working there in Oliphant West at the gate, we stop them, we do roadblocks there, we search the vehicle. Maybe it can be in the boot or some bags that we find that they're a bit suspicious, because you know that poachers, they can chop the meat, they can dice it, they put it inside, maybe they put ice cubes on top so that you won't think that there's anything inside. So we do roadblocks to make sure that they're not leaving with meat.
So you've mentioned poaching, and that leads me to my next question. What is poaching, and what animals are people trying to poach?
A poaching is illegal capturing or killing of wildlife. So mostly, I can say the time that I started working around 2019, I heard more stories back that rhinos were being poached a lot.
Right.
But now that we're doing this job so sufficiently, I can see that everything has been decreased. I don't hear a lot of stories regarding rhino poaching. So you can see that we are making a good impact in conservation.
Absolutely. What you guys doing is heroic, actually, and really inspiring. So what do the Black Mambas do specifically to prevent poaching?
The Black Mambas. Basically, the Black Mambas Rangers, we are the eyes, we are the ears of the reserve. Our purpose is to detect the poachers from the reserve. We prevent them to come in. We do visual policing and collect information and pass it to our ops room to analyze it. Earlier, I mentioned about the CMO phone, which is the app that we log our information, or also the Cluey, where we log the information that goes straight to the ops room. So if there is any backup they should send, they would have sent it through the clue, or the semaphore. And we do not carry guns. The reason, we are not here to fight and catch poachers. And by not kill or injure anyone, poachers are also humans, husbands, fathers, brothers. We come from the same communities as us, of course. We do not want any revenge from our communities, and poachers do not target us as well, as they won't see us as a threat to them.
Well, that's beautifully said, Vongani, and I appreciate you speaking up for both sides as a perspective. I think that's really important. And what you're doing to connect to the people of the community and potential poachers is really important, to listen to both sides and to represent both sides. So I appreciate that. And Lewyn, I'd like to just switch gears a little bit to you. I'd love to hear about your education programs. And my first question is, what role does education play in connecting local communities to the ecosystems around them?
Well, environmental education plays a very important role in engaging the locals with the reserves, because it's not just our reserve, it's their reserves. You know, we are on the western boundary fence of the Greater Kruger National Park. So the education part plays a very important role, because these are our future generations, these are our leaders. And so we would want to get them to be more knowledgeable and really get a gist of understanding that this environment, it's all of us, it's our responsibility, and we should take care of it holistically. It's not just the species that we need to focus on, but everything all together.
I love that you use the word holistically too. That's really important. It needs to be inclusive, and that's a really great approach. And how does it help with anti-poaching measures and the human-wildlife conflict from your perspective?
So the Bush Babies program helps with the human-wildlife conflict, identifying the problems and solving them through partnerships with, like, the Black Mambas, our sister program, because they're dealing with this and they're always on the ground. We do the theoretical part, and they come and tell the kids actual stories. This is what is happening in real life, and this is how they tackle it. You know, as a child, I think you would feel more comfortable telling on somebody who is, for example, a poacher. You can easily know that the Black Mambas are not there to kill your uncle or your brother, but they to raise awareness. And we've seen a very positive response in this case, where the Mambas have come to the schools, and the kids went home and they told their parents there were these soldiers at school. And I mean, we are a disadvantaged school. So as a parent, you really want to know, why were soldiers at school? What were they doing there? And that is where we get the conservational message across of, no, they were saying that we need to conserve, you know, and that way, you know, through the education, through the Black Mambas, we got the information across. And now they're also not, you know, when a child tells you of somebody, you know, they're getting this feeling of, this person is a role model. You know, when I grow up, I want to be just like Lewyn, who walks in the field with no rifle. So it's a two-way street, or it's a holistic approach. It's not just education. If we catch your uncle, we're going to kill your uncle. But no, we can educate uncle and move, you know, on a broader picture.
Yeah, and that's the idea of education versus fear, right? If you can educate and take the fear out, there's a lot more, makes space for a conversation and understanding. I think that's really important. So while I was reading about your programs, I came across two that I found really great. If you could talk to us about them. The first one is Dress Me to Learn. And the second is Elders in the Park. Can you just tell us about those programs?
Apart from all my programs being my favorite program, these are also some of my important programs. Because, you know, the Dress Me to Learn it's just a fantastic program. It brings about change. You know, it changes a child's life, whereby these kids come to school with their shoes. You find the shoes a little bit open. But in a nutshell, it is us buying school uniform from head to toe for the kids in particular the school shoes, because they walk long kilometers. And you can already imagine in your head when you've given this child this pair of brand new shoes and they take in these shoes and they go home with it. And as a parent, you couldn't even afford it. But then now here comes this child with brand new shoes. It's just that smile on your face. And we just want to create a comfortable learning environment for the kids. The bush grannies, however, that one is very dear to my heart. I must tell you. So like we're doing our education program at the schools, we've got now our bush grannies who are 70 years and above. It has both male and female that are on the program. And they would come to the center or to the schools and they would engage with the kids. Our local elders, they've got so much indigenous knowledge in terms of wildlife, nature, so we're trying to get that from them to instill it, that indigenous knowledge into the younger generations. And as what we also do at the end of the year is we take them into the Kruger Park. We have excursions with them as well, just as we do with the kids. It's just for us to exchange that indigenous knowledge, like now science, everything is improving. What are the changes, and one thing that I really like about the grannies is they come and they give stories, indigenous stories to the kids. Like, we'd sit around the campfire and Granny would tell us the story, how the zebra got its stripes, and the stories, they just have so much meaning in them. I remember this one time we did, a millipede, when you touch it, it would curl. She says that every child must be like a centipede. You need to be humble, because there was one time when the queen was walking around in the community and she came across this millipede and the millipede curled. So the kids must have those kind of values, that when you come across an elderly person, you must just bow your head and show honor and respect to them. But just get that example using a millipede.
That is so brilliant.
We also learn as well, hey?
Absolutely. And just to touch back to the dress me to learn it, the seemingly simple experience of new shoes, it's ultimately hugely impacting, and it can instill a sense of pride and therefore confidence. And they've proven that when children feel these ways, they can absorb information and learning better. So that's just a critical part of education. And I love the elders in the park, because that's learning from our elders. Like you were saying, Lewyn, how much information and value of the knowledge that they have to pass down to us. And I'm betting you learn as much from them as they do from you. And I think that's a beautiful exchange.
Definitely.
Yeah. So this is a question for both of you. And Vongani, I'll get back to you if that's okay. What is your favorite part of your job?
The favorite part of my job is when I wake up in the morning, and then let's take, for instance, we're doing a normal morning patrol. We're checking the fence. And then I see a zebra, it can be a giraffe, a warthog, or any particular animal. When I see that animal is not wounded or is not hurt, it brings so much joy to my life. So personally, it takes me back when I started working in 2019, because my dad always told me that you cannot do this job. It's not good for you. So it hurt me inside. And then I proved him wrong because I didn't quit. Dishana Barber, the first soldier to be crowned Miss USA 2016, said that when you quit, it is the birth of regret. That the biggest failure in life is regret. So I didn't quit. That's why I'm standing before you today. I'm doing this interview because I didn't quit. The problem with most us people, we're still wanting society to give us approval. That's why Nisa Nico said these words, that you must not wait for society to give you approval. You must just stand out and say, here I am. Here I am today as one of the Black Mambas women. I'm saying that we're trying to give a voice to women, for them to have a voice in any compartment in the field, that they must know that they can do anything and achieve anything they put their mind to. So long as they're persistent, they're not defined by failure. They can achieve anything. The only person who limits you is yourself.
Absolutely. That is incredible. It's so inspiring, Vongani. What a beautiful beautiful image that you just took us to, the dawn, and seeing the healthy, vibrant animals, and your commitment to your work for so many different reasons is incredibly inspiring. And not just for me, but for girls around the world. I think that's partly why, in part, the importance that you hold in your position as a ranger in the Black Mambas. And Lewyn, to you, what's your favorite part of your job? Just if you have one, pick it. One of many.
The favorite part of my job is being the change that I want to see, in the local communities, because I'm motivated by this quote by Dr. Seuss that says, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing will get better. It will not. So I always say, Lewyn, unless someone like Lewyn cares a whole awful lot to educate the local community members to change their mindset and the behaviors towards the environment, wildlife, everything, it will not get better. It just will not. And of course, the excursions, they are the cherry on top of everything. Having to take the kids, the bush grannies, everybody, and they get to see this wildlife in their natural environment. I remember with the bush grannies when we took them to Kruger, and the granny was like, oh, I've never, it was the first time in the Kruger Park. And she says, oh, I didn't even know the elephant was that big. So I'm trying to catch her out. I'm like, ha, ha, ha. Then how do you know that's an elephant? She's like, I saw it on TV, but it was just that small. And now she's having this thing that is 2 times almost the size of her house.
Right.
So it's those little things that we really don't get to note. It's the child's smile on her face when she gets that shoes. It's when the kids eat. It's the tiny things that they touch on. Oh, today, thank you so much that we ate 3 times a day. Little things that we take for granted. But when you look at it in the long run, you actually give yourself a pat on the shoulders. And of course, a hand clap to all our funders and supporters.
Absolutely. And I love that quote, that you want to be the change that you see. Is that what you said? That's incredible. And I think that is critical to our world and our children and conservation. Absolutely. And it's a beautiful sentiment and also a critical focus. If we can all carry that in our heart at the beginning of the day, what a difference we would all make. And I can also relate to the granny who says, to see the elephant on TV and then to see it in real life, the impact that makes is also a really important part of the change. That then, you're creating that experience for them.
Definitely. And I forgot to say, I do the very fun part of what the Black Mambas are doing. So that is also another one.
I can see that. So thank you so much for joining us today. We've been following you for a few years now, and we just find the work you are doing critical to paving the way for women and girls who want to do this kind of work, but also work in conservation and science and education. Because if you can do it, maybe that little girl can do it too, and that's what changes the world. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I believe that the work you're doing is changing the future of conservation and helping to also build a world where real change and then healing can come into the human-wildlife conflict. So thank you for your valuable time, and all the best to you, bush babies, and to you, Black Mambas. You are an inspiration and light in our hearts. And just a beautiful way that you're walking through your life. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Hey guys, we're back with the takeaway. What an incredible, inspiring, and just impactful conversation with Lewyn and Vongani. There's so much to talk about. The one thing though, I was really struck when Vongani first said, they don't carry weapons into the bush with them. And I just thought, how do they feel safe not doing that? And her answer was so surprising and so smart and well thought out, obviously. But the fact that if they don't carry guns, then the poachers don't see them as a threat.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you and I were talking about how she was saying that they're the eyes and ears of the land, and that if they see something, they radio it in to people who can handle that situation. But I thought that was incredible, and it led me to the idea too, in working with the Bush babies, with Lewyn, how the community doesn't see them as a threat.
Right.
And then the children don't see them as a threat, because the Black Mambas haven't injured or killed anybody in their community. So they're able to be integrated and really be seen as safe to the communities. And then the Bush babies can bring in the Rangers and talk about what's going on, and it's all safe. And
it's much more of a
good.
Partnership, that idea, and that's where the female perspective, I think, on how they're just going to trust that they're going to be safe. They're not going to come off as a threat, and it seems to be working.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be working.
Which is very cool.
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing I just wanted to mention was the snares that Vongani talks about. You can Google it easily and find out, poaching snares. There's lots of information about it. But in case you don't know, it's literally just basic, simple wire, a wire trap.
Yeah.
So that when an animal walks through, it's literally like this thin wire. And
Like it's just a loop that catches them.
And it catches them, and they walk forward, and it pulls tight.
Yeah.
And they can be caught around baby elephants' trunks. I've seen that. They can be caught around mostly legs, but they can be caught around necks. And it's a horrible way for the animal to die. It's very slow.
Yeah.
If they aren't killed quickly.
Right.
And there are a lot of units in all over Africa and the countries working very hard to collect these snares on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And she talked about that. Vongani talked about that, going out in the morning and
when they're sweeping,
collecting,
and patrolling.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, what kind of snares they were looking for. And then switching to Lewyn, I loved, again, I don't want to hash it out too much, you just heard it, but the Dress Me to Learn, I just thought that it was such a great program, because it just instills confidence and being able to show up to school in your school outfit and your brand new shoes. And how I can relate to that. I mean, even as a kid, I remember we got new shoes every year, twice a year, and it was just such a, like, you were just super pumped.
No,
and
very exciting. I used to the day before school started, I would put my shoes right by my bed, and I remember lying in bed, looking at them and being so excited to wake up because I got to put them on, because we weren't allowed to wear them till the first day. But just that, the connection of practical, like she said, because they walk a far way, as well as to give them a good feeling about themselves. Like, it's just such a brilliant, such a easy thing to do. But like she said too, that these parents can't necessarily afford them. So it's not nothing for them to have this just given to them.
Yeah.
It's really...
Yep. And like you were saying, they walk a long way. So it really is also, it's, for their health as well.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Me too.
You just love seeing, you just know the excitement of getting, like you're saying, getting dressed for school and going. It's just fantastic. And then the elders in the park and the bush grannies. I mean,
I love that.
And just, the indigenous knowledge that they can hand down to the younger generations. And we've been talking about this a lot this season, and what we can learn from their knowledge of animals and nature. And she gives the millipede anecdote.
Yeah.
How when you meet somebody, when you come up to a millipede and they curl up and they bow their heads, and she says that's like, they talked about that's how children should be when when you're approaching someone, and you should be respectful and you should curl up, and I just love that. I thought that was really sweet.
Well, and the exchange too, like she said that they share the indigenous knowledge, and then like that example she said about the woman who says, I see an elephant on TV and then I see this elephant, like, so they're giving them an experience, so there is an exchange, like they're allowing them to actually see these animals in real life, and then the elders have something to offer back too, is really a cool thing.
Yeah, and I can absolutely relate to that. Like I was saying in the intro, like, I mean, seeing these animals in the wild, it impacts you in a whole different way. Like seeing that giraffe running, I was just mesmerized and just gobsmacked by the beauty of this awkward animal running so gracefully, actually.
I'm sure it's like a very thrilling experience for them. Yeah, and
then it makes a real difference. Then I loved Vongani talking about, just one other thing. When Lewyn was talking about how her favorite part, or one of her favorite parts of working, was being the change she wants to see. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was very powerful, and what I kind of hold in my heart as well. Like, how can I be the change I want to see? Mm-hmm. I think that is just such an important message for all of us to be reminded of and hear. And I think it can be what inspires little changes and big changes.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then Vongani talking about how her dad said, this is not a job you should do. Mm-hmm. You can't do this job. And that she's proven to herself she could, and what that means to her, and then what that means to other girls and women in the world. Mm-hmm. And how she's saying that quote about you mustn't wait for society to give you approval was just, again, inspiring and a great reminder, and it's so beautifully coupled with be the change you want to see.
No, absolutely. And the fact that they're both living what they believe is so important, and that that gets to be their job. You can tell they have a lot of pride, and the fact that they are these powerhouses and they are seen as these role models, and you can tell they feel very proud and fortunate to be in that position. That's really cool.
I know, it is very cool, and it's a powerful position for a woman. It's a powerful position for women of color, and it's just it's really as a woman to hear and to just think like they're badass, and what they're doing, and the bravery, the courage, the strength, the mental strength, the physical strength is just super cool. That's why I'm like a little starstruck.
Yeah,
because they're really like I want to be like them when I grow up.
Right.
Okay, and you had a really good point I want you to talk about. As far as inspiration for the future.
Yeah, I just wrote down both Vongani and Lewyn both talked about that they are approaching this as these children that they are interacting with are the future leaders of their country, and how the way that they are, I love how they're going to the young ones to infiltrate, and how then those kids go back and tell their families, we had soldiers at school today,
yes.
And they're soldiers, but they're not carrying guns. And then when she interacts with these kids, how they go back and talk to their fathers and uncles and cousins about how they're on our side, kind of thing. So just they're using them almost as ambassadors to do the work for them. I thought that was really kind of cool. It's very inspiring that they're trying a different way.
I love your point, because it also makes me think about that, and this is what you're saying, is that through the Black Mambas and the Bush Babies, they are bringing a whole community together through elders in the park and the Bush Grannies to these little ones, second and third grade. And it's again, they're the eyes and ears, and they're the mothers, and they are creating this connection.
Like the bridge, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And to focus on the kids is so critical, because like you're saying, they are the future. And they are the future leaders.
Yeah.
And the little girls that are talking to them, they are going to grow up and be rangers for the Black Mambas.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what a beautiful conversation, and very grateful to Vongani and Lewyn and the Black Mambas and the Bush Babies for speaking with us today. We thank them so much. Please go to our website. All the links of show notes will be in there. And then for more details and contacts to the Black Mambas and the Bush Babies, their website is theblackmambas.org. So head over to their website and check out more of their story. Calling us, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you. We'll see you next episode.
Sounds good.
Yep. Lots of love. Kindred is hosted by me and my sister Jen. Produced by Kat Gaddy and myself. Sound production and editing by Dan Cooper. Original music by Ellie Grace. And our Kindred artwork was created by Lindsay Coffin. Please follow, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And feel free to contact us through our website at kindredpodcast.co, where you can also find links to our socials, Patreon page, and show notes.